Hey, what's going on, everybody? I got another candidate right here. And first off, my first question is, what's your name?
Hey, good afternoon, good morning, good evening, whatever the case may be. My name is Rob Saka, as the shirt might say. I'm running for Seattle City Council in District 1.
Oh, to answer that second question, what position you're going for? So what inspired you to run?
Yeah, so look, I'm a public school dad of 3, Air Force veteran, attorney, justice reform advocate. I have 3 kids, as I mentioned. That's the first thing I said. And I'm running to make sure the city is the best of a place as it can be for my kids and as safe of a place as it can be for my kids. Not just my kids. Everybody wants what's best for their kids, but kids across the city. And certainly from a public safety standpoint, we're far from that. And rather than sit on the sidelines and gripe and complain about the problem, I am here to jump in and make progress.
All right. And the thing that people know about Seattle is that it's very expensive to live here. So what would your position be about raising the wage in Seattle and King County, whatnot?
Yeah, so look, I understand the livability and lack of livability and lack of affordable issues with respect to Seattle and this whole region firsthand. I'm a lawyer today in sort of my day job, but also someone who overcame the foster care system. I'm also someone who has experienced not just poverty, but abject poverty. I grew up after the foster care system for the first 9 years of my life. I lived in low-income apartments, public housing. So I know what it's like to be down on your luck. My father was a frontline warehouse worker in Kent. Kent is a huge warehousing district, as we know. Unfortunately, he wasn't able to be a part of any union of any sort. So we didn't have a ticket into the middle class at any tier within the middle class. So I was, free reduced lunch, public housing, all that stuff. But everyone, I don't care if you're a lawyer, if you work in tech, if you're a doctor, but especially if you're a warehouse worker like my dad, or you're a janitor like this brother I just got done talking to. I don't care what you do in your day job. If you work in Seattle, you should be able to afford to live here too. Housing costs are way out of hand. I know what it's like personally to live paycheck to paycheck, and growing up in a family that was doing the exact same thing. It's out of hand. We can and must do better for workers and all of us.
Man, I hear that. Now, would you be willing to call out companies who are union bust? In Seattle, we have 2 that's been, tried in the courts, where Amazon and Starbucks. Would you be willing to call them out, even if they do donate to your campaign?
I'm willing to call out anyone or any organization, period, who's not moving the city forward, not taking care of workers. I talked about this. I had an interview with TechCrunch or GeekWire, and I talked about the important role that companies play, especially the responsible ones, and I'm here to partner with all. But the ones that care most about the workers, I think there's the closest opportunity to collaborate with.
I hear that. Next question is, there was a documentary a couple years ago that Come Before made called Seattle is Dying. I mean, do you agree with that sentiment with the public safety in downtown Seattle and other areas?
I am familiar with part of the Seattle is Dying, like it was part of a broader series of reporting. I'm familiar with that. Look, the public safety situation is not where it can nor should be from a public safety standpoint, which is in part why I'm running. That's one of the first things I mentioned. That's actually putting it lightly. To be more explicit and be more candid, it's totally out of hand. Everybody deserves to feel safe in their own neighborhoods and their own communities. And we've made some poor policy decisions recently, specifically with respect to defunding the police, which personally I don't support. And I think we're living through some of those consequences right now. And by the way, as a black man in this country, I've experienced police brutality firsthand. And I've also, as a lawyer in the state, I passed the state bar's moral character and fitness examination. As a former intelligence officer, for 10 years I served. I held the federal government's highest clearance that it can bestow on people with security clearance, the top secret clearance. I've had a lot of explaining to do personally and professionally for some nonsense that should have never happened to begin with. And honestly, but for the color of my skin, would have never happened. Okay? That's how I know we need better police. and we have people, well-intended people, not from our communities, making decisions purportedly in my best interests. No. We need people with these direct lived experiences in these seats, in these positions of power, being accountable and responsible for our own. That's in part why I'm running.
Ain't no question about that, man. Hey, thanks a lot for you.
My pleasure. Thank you. Thank you.
Hey, we signing off.